Hello, America. This is Walter Cronkite of CBS News. The 1968 Democratic National Convention is underway here in Chicago, Illinois, and I am reporting from the Convention Center in downtown Chicago. Day one of the convention began with an opening speech from Mayor Daley of Chicago. His welcome included the welcoming of police and their action with protesters.
The Chicago Police Department has been ordered to maintain law and peace throughout the timeline of this weekend. As many of you have gathered and seen, there is a specific protest zone for all protesters we have gathered here for this weekend.
At this point, protesters were relatively calm. Next, 4 delegates gave their speeches. Carl Albert introduced a discussion on domestic policy. Representative Julian Bond, Senator Fred Harris, and Representative Hale Boggs spoke on the war on poverty. Soon after, protesters did some speaking of their own, and Abby Hoffman introduced a pig named Pegasus as the protesters' potential nominee for the presidency. Allen Ginsberg recited a poem for the crowd, and Tom Hayden also gave a speech.
I present to you Pegasus. He may not look like that much, but I promise you, he is way more qualified than what meets the eye. He is already so much more qualified than almost every candidate here.
Wander through each chartered street near where the chartered Thames does flow.
He's trying to. He has not shown anything that will get us any plans to get us out of the war. And to me, that is just anti-American, anti what their so-called policy is as a Democratic Party.
A march by the protesters began, and thus a crackdown for Mayor Daley ensued. 4 protesters were arrested, including Abby Hoffman, Bobby Seale, Tom Hayden, and Jerry Rubin.
Pegasus!
Police crackdown! All right, a police crackdown! Here we go! All right, half of you are arrested.
The rest of the protesters continued their march successfully. After all of this, I decided it was time to talk to Mayor Daley and see his thoughts on the protests that had happened.
What do you think of these protesters?
Honestly, I feel like this is the biggest, I don't even know what to say. Definitely one of the more active cases of a civil disorder I've ever seen. Luckily, Chicago Police Department is working really well with me, and I've ordered them to take any means necessary.
Day 2 of the convention was the day of the vote. Jerry Rubin gave a speech, and thus the vote began. It was decided that the Democrats would focus on civil rights and the war on poverty moving forward. A variety of speeches were given by protesters and delegates alike. This included the likes of Abby Hoffman, Jerry Rubin, and various others. Soon after, a protest ensued, and Abby Hoffman gave a speech at the podium.
Leader of the Women's Strike Organization.
Thank you.
The United States must withdraw our troops from Vietnam immediately. This war has caused so many casualties both on the American and Southern Vietnamese side.
As the convention progresses, you will hear it and see it here first. This is Walter Cronkite signing off, CBS News.